The land of fire and ice welcomes 9 athletes in pursuit of Mount Everest. New teams are assigned, and for some, tension lingers.
I know Jesse and Trent have been on a team for a long time, and I'm aware that there's some tension there, possibly.
I would do Everest with either Jesse Haynes or Sam. Not my dream team.
The global extremists learn firsthand how the Icelanders survive in one of the toughest climates on the planet.
This is one hell of a transition from the jungles of Costa Rica. It's the kind of conditions that we're looking for to test these athletes.
For 5, the dream of Mount Everest awaits. For the other 4, it's the end of the journey.
So Andy's come to the top of the climb here and he's taken a few falls. I think the reality of Everest for everyone here is becoming a little closer.
It began in Moab, rock, river, and sand. Next, the Rocky Mountains, bitter cold and altitude. Then the Kalahari's scorching sun, followed by Costa Rica's heat and humidity. Today, Iceland's Arctic winter will determine which 5 will ultimately have the opportunity to climb Mount Everest. Welcome to Iceland. In midwinter, Europe's westernmost country lives up to its name, but it's an island of contrasts, icebergs and hot springs, snow-capped mountains and active volcanoes.
This harsh environment is the final training ground before Mount Everest and the final stop for our 9 Global Extremes athletes.
The athletes who survived Costa Rica traveled directly to Iceland. In midwinter, this country lives up to its name, land of ice, an especially cruel shock for the global extremists who have just spent nearly 2 months in the desert and jungle. 1/10 of Iceland's surface is covered in glacial ice caps, yet there is more volcanic and geothermal hot spring activity than any other country on Earth. It is truly the land of fire and ice. The Blue Lagoon is an example of how Iceland has made its subarctic climate more bearable. Seawater flowing through porous lava is geothermally heated to create a relaxing welcome for the Global Extremes athletes.
Iceland will not be all fun and games. It is here the athletes will experience conditions that will simulate those on Mount Everest. The extreme climate will prove essential in determining the elimination of 4 athletes and selecting the final team that will go on to climb the highest mountain in the world.
If weather holds like this, we're just going to be really lucky people.
I've been on some pretty gnarly expeditions with disgusting weather in the Arctic, Antarctica, but this particular day here in Iceland, this is as bad as it gets.
Eric Phillips will be the expert judge for the Iceland portion of Global Extremes. A native of Australia, he is one of the world's foremost polar explorers. Never daunted by wind or cold, Eric is the only person to have skied across the world's 4 largest ice caps. Sharing his expertise of extreme conditions will be a valuable resource for the athletes as they prepare themselves for Mount Everest. In Iceland, the Toyota 4Runners will prove to be a valuable team member as the athletes traverse this barren land and face the brutal winter conditions. First stop for the athletes is the West Fjords, near the Arctic Circle. As Everest looms, Eric explains how the final 5 will be chosen.
To take the emphasis away from adventure racing and onto expedition skills and training. In selecting the final 5 to go to Mount Everest, we're going to split the responsibility between you, the athletes, and us, the experts. You have now been divided into 3 rope teams, and as on any expedition, you will learn about your teammates' strengths and their weaknesses. Each team will be evaluated, and at the end of Iceland, the 2 weakest teams will eliminate their weakest member. Russell, Bryce and I will then look at the remaining group and from it choose the final 5 who will become the Global Extremes expedition to the highest point on Earth, Mount Everest.
I think it's great that the experts are now involved and, half of the elimination will fall on them. I think it would be better if all the elimination would fall on them because they know what goes on in Everest, they've been there, and they know what qualities to look for.
To be involved in the decision-making process is definitely a good thing. And to be more and more involved as we go on, and the 5 who get to go to Everest, I think it's crucial to be involved in the decision-making process.
Hopefully everybody feels the same way, and hopefully the elimination will be fair, and that the strongest people and the most suitable people for Mount Everest get to go.
The previous elimination took place in Costa Rica. After 3 weeks of fierce competition, from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic, the teams themselves were required to eliminate 2 athletes.
And I don't want anyone to be upset with this, but I would have to pick Hansa.
I guess I would have to say you because, this is terrible.
I guess I'm gonna go with you, Hansa.
Really.
All right, well, we'll make it short and sweet. My vote's for Sam.
My vote's for Eric.
My vote's for Eric.
Sorry, man.
It's just, the bad side of human nature. It increases their chances of climbing Everest if the strongest person on their team is voted off.
Now this new climate welcomes the eager global extremists.
Here in Iceland, we're going to reassign the 9 of you into 3 teams. You're going to be responsible for everything, from safety on the glaciers to cooking in the tent at night.
After racing and living together both in the Kalahari and Costa Rica, new teams are a welcome change. Team Lhotse, consisting of Troy, Colleen, and Ted, is a team with plenty of mountain savvy.
Yeah, my new team's great. I really enjoyed Ted. I haven't had a lot of opportunity to spend time with Ted, and he's one of the people that I've really wanted to get to know better. He's very skilled and very fun to be around.
Team Pomori with Sam, Jesse Haynes, and Andy will enjoy Jesse's tireless enthusiasm and Andy's veteran experience.
I'm really looking forward to working with Andy and Jesse. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Jesse, Rickert, Trent, and Petit make up the final team, Ama de Blam. Jesse and Trent are the only ones who were previously on the same team.
Jesse has a lot of experience, and Trent has an amazing attitude. I know Jesse and Trent have been on a team for a long time, and I'm aware that there's some tension there, possibly. There's a lot of strong athletes here. Maybe she was the weakest link on the team, so people help her get through. There were times maybe in the past 2 continents that Trent was feeling tired or weak, and Jesse stepped up to help her, but his attitude maybe wasn't in top shape at that time.
Some of her weaknesses are with mountain biking and stuff. We're not doing that anymore, so I think we'll do really well.
Global Extremes Mount Everest, Forerunners of Adventure, presented by the all-new Forerunner, larger, more powerful, more capable. And brought to you in part by the United States Marine Corps. The change is forever. And by Subway, fresh made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway, eat fresh. And by Rolling Rock. Iceland has a tiny population of only 280,000, and they are known for excelling in harsh conditions. Our athletes are going to find out firsthand about Icelanders' self-reliance by living with a fishing family, sheep farmer, and power line serviceman. Team Pomori will learn how Iceland's tradition of living off the sea is still thriving. Their host family is known for their award-winning dried fish.
So we get to see our host for tonight.
Yeah, I'm standing.
Say again?
I'm standing.
Standing?
Yeah. Nice
Jesse,
to meet you.
nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Sam. Nice to meet you. Pickett?
Jesse.
Pickett.
Jesse. I'm a good fisherman, so we're gonna get everything within like 8.
All right.
Look at her roll her eyes.
Looks like a good fisherman, huh?
I just dangled my head in the water.
Andy Cora has briefly gone home as he just learned his wife had given birth to their baby boy. Meanwhile, Jesse and Sam gear up for a fishing expedition.
Yeah, it's warm. I love this thing.
Am I gonna be warm? Yeah. Okay.
Bjarker's 25 years old, and there are very few fishing boat captains who are, that young. And Steinan is 20 years old, and she's one of 3 women in Iceland who go out to sea, and that alone is pretty impressive to me.
I've never been to sea before. This is the first time. It's pretty amazing watching these big swells.
The fishing industry in Iceland is responsible for 70% of the country's exports. The cold and unpolluted waters off Iceland make for a healthy fishery and some of the world's premium seafood. They spend the next 4 hours hauling in the catch. Most of the fish caught is cod, but there is an assortment of other colorful sea life.
The thing that impressed me most about being out to sea with Berker and Stenen were really just being with them. They were very efficient, very professional, and it was a pleasure to see what they do.
Back at the harbor, their father Einar is waiting to help offload the catch.
You can also go up and help him.
They bring in 3.2 metric tons of fish. It was a good day.
I don't want to do this.
I'm not in the mood for sushi tonight. Never been out on the sea before. It was like a wall of water.
Some of the things that impressed me most about these people were their sense of humor. I mean, wonderful sense of humor. Everything's funny.
Put it on the, like this.
Okay, it would take us a day and a half to do these fish right here. Look at those lumps all over it. I had no idea what I was going to be doing when I signed up for Global Extreme. Oh, yeah,
Good day.
Oh, they're great. They're probably born to be fishermen, you know. I didn't do anything the whole day. They did all the job.
The following morning, Andy returns from baby leave to rejoin his Global Extremes teammates.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Did you have a good time at home?
Yeah, really good.
Here.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
How are you? Good to see you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Wiley?
Wiley.
Wiley the boy.
Wow, he's got sunglasses on.
He did turn out tall, skinny, and have a big nose.
He does have your nose.
She was right.
Look at that.
Hey, who's Dad? Who is Dad? Who is Dad? That's your new little brother. This is Wiley Tom Cora. And he's starting day 3. Are you gonna cry for us? No, you're just gonna make a face? Most babies don't have a big old nose like that. Where'd you get that? Get to be home, have a little coffee, a little decompression, see my boy. This is great. I think it'll be good for my mental state. Just one day, I slept in my own bed last night. I was dreaming about that the other day. I was going, man, I would love to come home and sit in my hot tub and be in my own bed for one night. And I really hope to stand on the top of Mount Everest and be able to tell my new little boy all about it.
The fishing village of Flattery at dawn, and Andy is immediately immersed into the local fisherman's life.
The Icelandic people are living a great life, and I think they know it. They obviously enjoy life and have a good time.
Just like that?
Yeah, just like that.
Filleting and drying are the final steps in the process.
Good thing you don't have to dry fish in Costa Rica. They'd never try.
First one down?
Yeah.
How long will it take for them to dry?
Oh, like 2 or 3 weeks.
You know, the people here are wonderful. They seem to have a really love of life. You don't see the stress levels that you see here in the United States. And while these people have modern conveniences, I'm not seeing them weighed down with all the stuff you don't need in life to be happy. And they seem really happy. I envy that a little bit.
He is good.
My brain's freezing. I felt like we got a really good taste of local culture, literally as well. I mean, we had a feast with like 9 different fishes and prepared different ways that was great. It was a wonderful introduction to the culture.
Gudrun, the mother, presents them with the family's finished product.
Give you this when you go to Everest. You keep it with you, and this is very healthy for you. And thank you for being
Gudrun. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
It's been wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I am so excited because I think this is delicious. I love this stuff. Thank you.
Will Team Kumori's performance on a frozen waterfall provide the first insight on who goes to Everest? Find out when Global Extremes returns.
After spending several days working with their respective families, it's the weekend. Team Pomori takes their Toyota 4Runner to an ice climb in a nearby fjord. These rugged SUVs have the capability of going through even the toughest of Icelandic conditions.
We went right to the ice climb, and it was good. It was a nice little pitch.
So we're climbing?
Like to look at that.
I'll tell you later.
Out of the frying pan and into the freezer, eh?
Okay, you want to grab your packs?
All right,
Head off?
I'll go get mine.
Okay.
I've spent a lot of time on snow and ice, and I've spent a lot of time with crampons on my feet, but not necessarily on vertical ice.
This is the first. I'm looking forward to it.
No, I'm not the only one.
Everything's a first for me on this trip, on this Global Extremes adventure, and I can't find my ATC.
But that is not a first.
That's not a
Runar Carlson, a local climbing guide, leads Team Pomori on the ice.
Okay, I'm just gonna climb up, then I'll put in a belay and take you up, and then you rappel down. Well, the important thing about ice climbing is to have the balance on your feet. You only try to use the ice axis just to keep your body close to the ice.
Looks like it's gonna be very, very, very tough. I'll watch Andy, see when he does it. The guy's doing it now as a professional.
Okay, I'm off belay. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
All right, that's me. Here we go, climbing.
You know, on my new team, I think that I probably do have a little more time on the snow and ice.
All right, now it's getting vertical. Yeah.
Second part got tough. I slipped a couple of times. It was hard to get your crampons or pick in.
Well, I was feeling comfortable.
I got pumped. I realized I was a little rusty up there.
So Andy's come to the top of the climb here and he's taken a few falls. I think the reality of Everest for everyone here is becoming a little closer.
Perhaps Andy has higher expectations of his skills than he can live up to.
Good job. See how encouraging I am when I'm on your team, Sam?
Yeah, that's a first.
Yeah, I don't want to kick your ass anymore.
Sam, Everest must feel a little closer now.
Sure. Is there any vertical ice on Everest? I don't think so.
If it were Sam and I alone on a rope out there, you know, my only concern would be if I fall in a crevasse, can she haul me out?
Your style is better than the boys.
They don't like that, but I like that.
They're probably not the dream team that I'd want to be with on Everest necessarily. I would do Everest with either Jesse Haynes or Sam. Not my dream team.
You can receive the best instruction in the world, but until you get on here, it's a different story. We'll have to see how it goes.
No.
Jesse's the kind of guy who picks up things real fast. He's got good hand-eye coordination. He's a confident guy. He's strong. He's lithe. He's athletic, and he's real keen to give things a go.
Despite limited experience, Jesse's enthusiasm to try anything new has earned him the Marine Portrait of Pride.
Global Extremes has definitely lived up to being the adventure of a lifetime. I've gotten to do things that I've never done before in a setting that's been spectacular. Gotten to see all kinds of country, different parts of the world. I've been in a small town for most of my life. This adventure has opened up my outlook on things. Now I can see there's so much more enjoyment you can get out of life by diversifying. I think it's about time for me to go experience some new places. Mountains being one of them.
Although most of the sports and locations are new to Jesse, he always tackles them with unbridled spirit.
I like how this axe is holding on the right. I don't want to take it out.
Yeah.
That was intense.
Yo, it's freezing here. My home is right there. You can see it.
That was a lot of fun to actually be in Iceland and do something with him that he'd never done before.
Whoa! It's really, really tough.
Well, the athletes have had a pretty mild introduction to Iceland, staying with the families here in the West Fjords, but it gets a lot tougher. In the final week, they'll undertake the major traverse of one of Iceland's biggest ice caps. Wow. And this is only part of the challenge.
Is Team Lotse inventing a new climbing sport? How will they fare in the volatile Icelandic weather? Find out when we return. Team Lotse's introduction to Iceland turns out to be a little more jolting.
Snowing today. Helmar is a power technician, so he's responsible for all the power lines and a lot of the facilities that produce the power. Mostly from what I learned, he's a lineman, so if there's any trouble in the lines or the poles, he's out repairing those or hanging new lines between different locations.
Yes, now we changed clothes, get ready for the mountain. Okay. It's gonna be rough, I promise you that. Very last. We can hack it.
They head out for a full day of remote repairs.
GPS tracking, see it here on the monitor. Yeah.
Let's go put our lives in the hands of some blob in the sky. Okay.
Ted. Picked it up. It's a nice place to have lunch.
That's the only reason that I should like them.
One of the problems they have here is with the wind and the power lines start oscillating in the wind and hit each other and short out and knock power out to some of their customers. We have to earth the pole all the way up and down. This is no problem. And they always get narrower the further up you go.
Yeah.
It's the same size as my wife. As far as climbing the poles and going up and physically moving lines around and dealing with lines is exactly what I do.
At home in Alaska, Troy demonstrates his version of Hjalmar's trade.
So I work at the local small telephone co-op. We cover, just about 10,000 square miles of service area. I guess we service probably 50 or 60,000 people, and it's a pretty amazing country to be working in. I think I'm just an average Midwestern boy, and well, what qualifies me to climb Mount Everest? Spent about 16 months in Antarctica doing search and rescue stuff. And I think I've been slowly building my experience in the mountains and mountaineering for quite a few years, so I think it's time. I think it's time to head to Everest.
I think I might. It looks kind of like a gym class.
You know, I don't think I'm gonna go for the summit like Troy did.
Their gear that they use is a little different than ours, and I don't think it's any better or any worse. It's just different, so it would take myself a little bit to get used to using his equipment.
Those will take a little getting used to. Yeah. I like your
There's a jury rig if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels all right.
Everything's high enough. Good, Ted.
That's it?
No, you can come down if you like. Colleen, you gonna have a go?
Sure. Is that right?
Yeah, it's looking all right.
Yeah, a little.
Is that good, Troy?
Yeah, that's good. She's a fast learner.
Iceland has a unique history of renewable energy. 85% of all homes are heated by geothermal sources, while hydroelectric power, which Hjalmar produces, ensures that these remote communities can live in modern comfort,
Then connect it to
while causing little impact on the environment.
So which is which?
This is shark.
This is shark
Testicle, sheephead.
Testicle, this one here?
Yeah.
That's a big testicle to be able to chop it up into bits like that.
What's the shark? Yeah, go ahead, have more.
I could eat the shark again.
Go ahead.
Yeah?
I like the aftertaste.
Kind of a
It's not
chemical
bad.
formaldehyde taste.
That's exactly right. Ammonia kind of formaldehyde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Colleen.
That's not bad.
I have enough adventure in my life already. I don't need to get adventuresome in the food category.
To our hosts for sharing their house and home and food with us,
Go.
teaching us about Iceland. Go.
The warmth of Hjalmar's home compels Colleen to reflect on her life and marriage.
As far as me leaving, I think Rick is doing well now. I think time will tell. It's definitely going to put a strain on our relationship, in my opinion. I think Rick's biggest frustration is he can't understand what drives me and why I have the passion that I do to push myself to these limits.
Hjalmar has a passion for alpine skiing. The Toyota 4Runners are capable of getting he and Team Lotzi through the unclear roads to the more remote fjords to find some powder turns. Runar joins them for the day.
Okay, folks. Here we are in Kirkjubólsdalur Valley in the Westfjords, and we're gonna climb the highest peak in the area, which is 1,000 meters high. Good.
Looks like we're at 116 meters here.
Okay, 850 to go then.
Let's climb.
In true Icelandic fashion, it's raining at the base of the mountain, a less than ideal start to a ski outing.
But around here, it's just rain to snow and windy the whole time, every day. So you either deal with it, get some Gore-Tex, and dry your stuff out well at night, or you don't go at all.
Yeah. Time for that.
Skins on, Runar.
Yeah.
It's not a really thick snowpack right now. It's a little lean. I think it's going to be a little sketchy. I wish I had my knee pads, which I didn't bring. But you know, I think it's going to be fun.
I don't telemark like exclusively. I'm pretty much alpine.
No respectable Viking will ever use skin on their skis to go uphill. That's just for sissies.
The setting here in Iceland is unlike anything I've seen. It's really quite the setting, you know, contrasting against just the mountain. It's sort of blue on brown. It's really pretty cool. And then, you know, the higher up you get, you can suddenly see the ocean. It's a beautiful place.
I think we're gonna have some wind today. It's windy. It's definitely windy. I like the skis on my feet because when they're on my back, it blows me over. Kind of like one big gust and knock you right in your ass.
When I finish events that just push you to the limit, I think, am I truly insane? And perhaps I am. But it's more those moments when you don't want to continue and you are having doubts about yourself, and then you do, that you learn so much about yourself, and then you accomplish it, and it's a feeling like none other.
This is one hell of a transition from the jungles of Costa Rica. It's the kind of conditions that we're looking for to test these athletes. For the average person, it's probably really gnarly out here, but for these guys, they seem to be taking it in their stride. But in reality, it's probably nothing compared to what Everest can deliver.
Avalanches are the leading cause of death on Mount Everest, surpassing falls by a 2-to-1 ratio. Further up the mountain, climbers face technical challenges, and as they push towards the summit, altitude and high winds make the equation more perilous. All for the satisfaction of standing on top of the world.
It's getting quite late, so I think we should just head down here because there's not much more skiing about this point. What do you think?
Head down?
Yeah.
Right on!
Despite howling winds, snow, rain, and low visibility, it's always a blast to get some powder skiing. And it's sweeter still to have earned your turns. Next, Team Ama de Blam has a heated session of separating the rams from the ewes and cools off Iceland style. When Global Extremes return, Team Ama de Blam takes the Toyota 4Runners to a harbor, where they will then take a 40-minute boat ride to meet their host, a sheep farmer who lives on an extremely remote fjord. This team consists of Petite, Trent, and Jesse Rickards.
Coming to Iceland, I feel now more in my element. I definitely feel more comfortable in the mountains. It's, you know, it's where I come from, and it's more of what I do as far as skiing and mountaineering, ice climbing.
Coming from Africa to Costa Rica and then jumping off the plane in Iceland, it was a little bit of a shock. I was taking a little bit of adjustment, but it's refreshing, and it kind of gets my mind towards Mount Everest.
There is a big difference coming to Iceland in the mood. The weather's more serious, exposure's more serious, and it's one step closer to Everest, so being eliminated from here is going to be really hard for those people who are eliminated.
And the farmer, right, especially the farmer.
My name is Þórður, but it's easier for everyone to pronounce Tóti.
This couldn't be more different from the muddy jungles of Costa Rica.
No mosquitoes, no snakes.
No bugs, no tree vipers, and no seums.
Besides being a sheep farmer, Þórður is also the school bus driver and mailman. Today, he must do a mail run to the 6 nearest farms, a 150-mile route.
Hello.
I'm delivering some mail today. Delivering mail.
Over 100 kilometers, 5 houses.
Okay.
At last, by nightfall, they reach Þórdur's farm and meet the family, which makes Jesse wistful of his own home.
It's a good little taste of home, and a good little taste of what to expect for in another 2 years.
Jesse's travels have left him apart from his wife Holly and baby girl Brianna.
I think our marriage and relationship is definitely one where we encourage each other to do the things that we enjoy doing, and as long as we've known each other, adventure has always been a big part of our relationship.
You think?
Oh yeah.
The next morning, the team sets their sights on tackling a whole new adventure.
Over the past almost 2 months, we've been racing and running and boating and all these athletic events, and to be able to stay with the family here in Iceland and feel the warmth of their home and kids running around and things like that was very, very nice.
So, there you have some Icelandic sheep. It's the first time they see Americans, so no wonder they're staring.
I thought about the lifestyle, like putting myself in the situation while we were there, because we were there for several days. We had some time to think about it, and I guess I kind of envy their satisfaction because I'm always striving for more. You know, I'll be in a great situation, I always think, okay, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that. And so seeing people that are that satisfied with their lifestyle is pretty valuable.
Okay, guys, we're coming. This is our training for Mount Everest.
Okay.
I'm thinking that I might break onto the Icelandic rap scene in this outfit. Back it up, back it up, back it up. Watch out for the crevasses.
Yeah.
Everybody had a job and everybody worked really hard. The kids would even go out and feed the sheep with us, you know, they went everywhere. It was really neat to see how involved everybody was. What about some for you, huh? There you go.
The plan is to take the rams from the promised land into the not so promised land.
That was kind of an interesting activity. We had some pretty comical catches.
Separating the Rams from the U's once again adds a new twist to the skill bank required from the Global Extremes athletes.
If you hold them here, like this, then it's easier to move them backwards.
I'm trying to identify the rams by sort of bending under them and looking for specific ram-like parts. Like, give me those horns, buddy.
Whoa.
That's strong.
Oh, I just... Oh,
No,
get
you
him.
go. No, you go.
Yeah.
No, you go.
I insist. I think we're getting better at this.
One of these delicacies is the testicles of the ram.
My job for the day, get the ram testicles and fry them up.
But they need to go through some process.
I'm sure they do.
So this was chapter 1 then, and chapter 2 is up there.
We were trying to move the rams out from the rest of the sheep because they had done their duty for the season, and easier said than done. And one, we wrapped a rope around its neck and we were pulling it as hard as we could, and there was no budging him. So Tolti went and got a wheelbarrow and scooped under the butt of the ram and picked him up upside down, and the ram was just straight upside down in the wheelbarrow, completely exposed and thrashing about, and it was just this hilarious moment. This is suitable for family viewing.
Like this.
Okay, barefoot. I'm part of the Icelandic Polar Bear Club.
A pool behind the farm is fed by geothermal hot springs. The prerequisite roll in the snow makes the soak that much more invigorating.
Little scrub.
The following day, it's time to feed the horses who roam wild in winter. Brought over by the Norse Vikings since the 11th century, Icelandic horses are entirely purebred, and through the centuries they have evolved to be very well suited to the Icelandic climate. The breed is marked by great sturdiness, endurance, and adaptability, equally suitable as workhorses or for riding.
The breed is Icelandic. It's the only breed in the country and the only breed that is allowed, actually. They don't look big, but they are extremely strong. They're very, very durable.
So beautiful.
Maybe you would like to try one of them, bareback. They are very good, very good.
I love the horses. We went out and caught one of Tolti's horses in the back pasture there, and the horses are magnificent. They're beautiful. I got to ride one. That was really cool. It just amazes me to see a horse that can be so wild out here, living on his own, and have him accept the bit and let someone get on him.
You should dive your nose into the horse and feel the smell. Well, actually I would like to have a perfume like that. Yeah. Dive in as well.
Smells like a horse.
Really?
I think one thing I learned from them is, how less can be more. More is better is not, really their philosophy at all.
Despite a hard day on the farm, everyone must still pitch in and prepare the family dinner.
The food was amazing. It was nonstop and quite rich and really delicious.
The lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. But Mary found the cost of meat. The price, it did not please her. Tonight she's having a leg of lamb, the rest is in the freezer. So, cheers.
Coming up, the Global Extremes athletes are reunited and get their first lesson in kiting, a skill they will need to traverse one of the Icelandic ice caps. Global Extremes Mount Everest, Forerunners of Adventure, presented by the all-new Forerunner, larger, more powerful, more capable. And brought to you in part by Camelback. Get cool water anytime with Camelback hydration systems. Camelback, keep moving. And by Expedia.com. Don't just travel, travel right. And by Columbia Sportswear Company. The global extremists are back together and learn a new skill from Eric.
This is our first introduction to kiting, and it doesn't matter how many times I've done it in the past, I get real fired up. The wind's perfect right now. We've got a good little area here to work on. Should be excited because hopefully a little later in Iceland we'll be able to use these kites to drag ourselves across the ice cap. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eric has used traction kites during all of his ice cap crossings, from Greenland to Patagonia to the South Pole. With kites, he's been able to travel up to 60 miles per day.
So guys, I'm hooked in, I'm ready to fly. I'm a little nervous because the wind's up, but we'll give it a shot. All right, guys. Whoa! Okay, it's flying beautifully. This wind is just superb. At the moment, I've got all the tension here on my chicken loops, okay? And if I release the bar completely, I'm flying solely on the leading edge. Yep, here we go.
Okay, skis and ice are going to be a little bit different than shoes on a soccer field. I mean, I'll try anything, but I can imagine myself flying off the glacier.
So this would be the leading edge, and this would be the trailing edge. So if you open it up more, there's more like surface area for the wind to hit, so you go
really
faster.
easy to kite to learn.
Well, yes.
As soon as we're comfortable with this on ice, I can't imagine doing this on ice. I mean, that thing is so powerful, and we're going to be going so fast.
You like diving into the deep end?
Yes, I do.
Let's go. Okay, you're in. Okay, release the handles.
I guess I didn't pull in tight enough.
Don't pull the whole bar to your right to steer it.
Oh, okay.
Pull the right arm back and lever the left arm straight.
Okay.
Nice and straight.
All right.
Give it a go.
The athletes will need to have these kiting skills dialed, as it will be a key element to the 5-day ski expedition that will culminate their stay in Iceland.
You've got to try to predict it a little.
Yeah.
That's right. But the more power you have in the kite, the less predictability you need, because it's inflated. It's really super responsive. Pull left and release right.
Their performance in the ski expedition will play a crucial role in who is eliminated on the road to Mount Everest.
It feels pretty cool. It doesn't really feel like I'm doing anything, but I guess I am.
From here in the West Fjords, we head to the southeast corner of Iceland, where the Global Extremes athletes attempt a midwinter sea-to-summit ascent of Iceland's highest peak. Next week on Global Extremes, the athletes begin their journey into the untamed Icelandic backcountry. The full fury of the subarctic winter will reveal who has what it takes to make the cut.
I think I've formed a pretty good idea of the people who are remaining on Global Extremes.
I mean, look at this slope. There's hardly any angle to it, and I'm definitely challenged by it.
I jumped in a tent after mine was literally torn to pieces. I possibly lost all my stuff. It was getting dark out, and had this happen to another tent or two, you know, it could have turned into a situation that might have gotten ugly.
The clock continues to tick down to the ultimate decision of who will go to Everest, only on OLN. Travel provided by Iceland Air, the coolest airline crossing the Atlantic.